Hey y'all, Natalie here for Cherry on Top, and it is Technique Tuesday. Today we are making our own pattern paper. So I'm using that photo of my pup sitting on a fun rainbow rug as my inspiration for the pattern on my paper. I'm also going to use this diagonal stamp from Pink Fresh Studio and this fireworks stamp from Catherine Pooler called Sparkle and Pop. So I have not put any gesso on this paper. I'm using plain white textured cardstock, and I'm using masks, and I'm not really sure if many of you have done masks, but masks is a super fun way to use a lot of stamping on a background or any part of your paper, and make those stamps really stretch for your scrapbooking. So I've created masks, and I had already made two, but I like to work in odd numbers. That is visually pleasing. So I'm going to make a third mask, and you can watch me do it here. What I did was I just stamped one of the fireworks, and I did a few different sizes. And now I'm going to die cut it with my circle die, and then I'm going to use my scissors to fussy cut the rest of it. So I will have basically a die cut shape from the stamp, from the fireworks stamp that I want to use on the background. You can also do this. It works really great with stamps that you already have dies for. So say maybe like a floral stamp, or even a shape stamp that you own, and you go ahead and die cut it. And then you, I put washi tape on the back. I just like rolled it over and stuck it down on the place where I'm going to be stamping lines. And so when I stamp the lines down, the places where the masks are will not be stamped, and they'll leave a blank space for me to go back in and stamp fireworks instead. So this would, like I said, work really great with any pattern stamp, and then maybe like a floral to peek out. And I really love a good distressed look, which looks like a pattern with something else coming out of it. Like I said, florals or like fruit would be really great. Anything really. But I chose fireworks here. So I'm just using reds. I'm using Samba by Catherine Pooler, and then I'm also using two pink colors by Pink Fresh Studio. I'm using Raspberry Bliss and Bubblegum. And I'm just alternating those stripes and using the masks to leave blank areas to stamp fireworks in. And it doesn't matter what the mask actually looks like. I just stamped on the paper so that I knew exactly what the which stamp I was using, so that I would know which ones to fill in the blanks later. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm kind of like building the stripes. I'm sticking them together, and then I'm pulling out random ones just so I can kind of variegate the colors. And I'm using my stamping platform here at first, but I actually end up stamping by hand later on because I kind of put the design up towards the top of the page, and it was a little bit hard for me to get the stamps to reach the area I needed, because my stamping platform is not 12 by 12. But if you had a 12 by 12 platform, then it would be just fine and easy. So this was a little tedious. It took a little bit of time, but I really love the effect. So it was definitely worth it in my opinion. You could also do this technique instead of stamping with stenciling. So you could create a mask, place it on the paper first before your stencil, and then maybe like do some ink blending or something through the stencil, even some spritzing, and then remove the mask and get the same result. So I'm just using a stamping platform here, or a handheld stamping block to keep going down the page and using those alternating colors. I think it's time for me to get a re-ink, or for my Samba color. What do you think? But it is also textured cardstock, so that is why you can see some of the like white spaces. And I'm totally cool with it. I actually really love the way the textured cardstock looks. So I nestled that mask back in the place that it was on the initial stamping that I did, and added another one there on the end. And there we have it. We have a bunch of blank spaces for me to fill in with the Sparkle and Pop stamp set. And I'm actually going to add in these 3 colors because those are on the rug more sporadically. So I am matching up the fireworks with the size that the mask was. I'm using the same stamps that I used on the masks. And I'm just going to sprinkle those around the page in those additional colors. And then I end up adding in some pink in the firework stamps as well, just to kind of marry together the firework image stamp with the stripe stamps, if that makes sense. So just to kind of add continuity. So this was fun. I like building the different fireworks, and you can get so many different looks. It would actually have looked really fun as well if I had stuck with the 3 colors in the red family, the red and the pink, and did the bursts in those colors as well. But I was trying to use the colors in the rug, which is why I went with these bright. And so now it was more like of a rainbow look. And yep, filling in those blanks here. I don't make you watch all of it. Look, boom, most of them are done. But you can see I started adding in the pink to just help tie in the fireworks with the stripes. I'm just filling in the last few little stars here, and I'm really loving how this looks. This is a super fun way to make pattern paper. So there we have it. And please note, I did not add gesso, but as is in my nature, I have to make it a little bit messy. So I'm just going to use this big paintbrush to add some water droplets because these inks are reactive with water. I'm immediately rolling them up with my paper towel roll because I do not want the water to soak through the paper. Like I said, I did not use gesso. So I'm just adding a little bit of water to, I dried it off just to make sure that it was going to give me the effect I wanted, and it did. So I am going to blur out just a few areas of it, not a lot. It's not super noticeable, but it just gives me the little bit of distressed look that I like personally. And I did roll up the paper or the water and kind of like dried it off really quickly because I didn't use gesso. Another thing that you can do even if you don't use gesso is add really minimal splatters. I'm not dousing, that's the word, dousing the paper in water by any means, but a few splatters with a really small paintbrush is not going to bleed through your heavy cardstock. So I took the 3 colors of the stripes and I added splatter around basically just the tops of the stripes and the bottoms of the stripes. And that gives me the distressed look that I appreciate in my personal scrapbooking. So I have the background done, my own pattern paper here. And now I'm going to embellish. So because it's like a rainbow color rug, I have this stamp that says, "You are my rainbow," and I want to put it inside this label, but it's too long for the label. So I'm just going to ink up the sections of the phrase separately and stamp them. Now, sometimes I will cover up the phrase I'm not using with washi tape, ink it up, and then remove the washi tape. But in this case, since I'm using these tiny cubes from Pink Fresh Studio, they are small enough that I can precisely ink up only the part that I want of the stamp in separate sections. So I did not use the washi tape trick in this case. But if you do use washi tape to cover up the part you don't want, make sure to remove it before you stamp, or you'll get the unwanted ink on your stamping area. So I die cut that little subtitle, and I'm going to make my main title be using this thicker from Paige Evans. It says Sweet. I'm going to add in a few little cardstock alphas that say My and Girl. Oh, I have this rainbow that is like an inflatable. It's from a past Amy Tangerine collection, and I love it. It's so fun. I'm so glad I finally get to use it. I think I bought them mostly with ideas of doing like album charms, which I still super love the idea of, but it just worked so well with this page and that stamp that I had to use it here. So I tied a little twine bow in the top, and I'm super happy with how it looks. So I'm going to add in, I'm just pulled a few stickers and things from my stash. And I'm going to finish up my title. It's going to say My Sweet Girl. And even though the stickers are sticky, I'm still going to use my Nuva adhesive to stick everything down because I want it to last. I don't want to flip through my scrapbook and find little bits and pieces at the bottom of the page protector, right? So I backed the photo in white cardstock, and I'm going to use my Nuva adhesive to start adhering down the title. And I always like to touch everything together, overlap, make it look cohesive, nestle things in together. So my title is there. Part of the title overlaps the photo in some of the negative space. then I think about putting that little label on top of the rainbow, but I actually don't, just because it would be a little bit problematic as far as making it stick well. So I set them side by side, but in order to make them look as though they're where they're meant to be, I use Manuvo to stick down the rainbow, and then I will nestle the label just up underneath the rainbow so that it is touching. Again, that just helps, layering up things like that helps everything look like it's meant to go together, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. I also have this fun little arrow that is exactly the right pink color, so I use that to kind of draw attention to the subtitle. So it says, "My sweet girl, you are my rainbow," because she is the best dog ever. And what are we doing? Okay, so I have this cute little like tag stamp, so I'm going to use it as an anchor for a puffy floral sticker that I really love. It is pink and red, and it also has a little pop of green, which is in the Starburst. I also have, so basically I just pulled out all of the pink and red items that were in my stash that I thought I might want to use to embellish. So I have a few different hearts I'm going to sprinkle around the page. That was on another like kind of like beige tag, and I just pulled it right off. If you have a sticker that you want to use but it's not exactly right, like alter it, you know, to fit your theme. And I think that that is just fine and make it work for you. So this is a card chipboard sticker, a really old one from Me and My Big Ideas. And that is a little label with a heart on it that I decided to stick down on the other side. So that gives a really good balance between the other label to put it on either side of the rainbow. I had another one of those puffy florals, so I used the heart sticker as another anchor for that. So now that gives good balance. And I have two little red puffies from the same sheet. That will be the third kind of visual triangle element. And I stuck another heart down there. So we kind of got a little theme going, right? A lot of pink hearts going on. Embellishing is the best part, I think. So I had a lot of fun doing this. Then I grabbed the new 6x6 paper pad that I have from My Favorite Things. And it is, it's going to be here in just a second. But it is a rainbow themed paper, which is super gorgeous. It's really bright, crisp white, which matches my background here. And it's all colors of the rainbow. So I flip through and I basically choose rainbow paper. The shape, it looks like a little rainbow or an arch. So I decide to do one of the things that I love to do most to finish off a page, which is just have a little peeking area up at the top and the bottom behind a distressed little border, and peek out some pretty pattern paper. So I am going to just isolate the sections that are pink and red. And if you hear anything in the background, that's just little Lola coming in the room while I'm doing this voiceover. She knows I'm talking about her. And I just stick some adhesive really close to the edge and put it exactly where I want the pink and red rainbows to show. And then I trim off the excess because I'm going to use it in a couple other places on the page. I will trim off the excess from the top off screen, and you will see those in the final photo. So you can basically just see a little bit of the pink and red pattern rainbow paper peeking out from two sections at the top, and then I'll add one more at the bottom. I hope you guys have been inspired today to create your own pattern paper. That is our Technique Tuesday theme this month, and it was super fun. And there's lots of other ways you can do this, but a masking technique is a really great way to, like I said, stretch your stamps to go into your scrapbook collection, use them up, use them all the time. They are an investment. We invest a lot of money into those stamps, so we need to find fun ways to use them on our scrapbook pages. I hope you've been inspired. Check out the links down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.